The Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame Conference is the most significant career recognition ceremony for NBA players, coaches, and teams in the world of basketball. This year's list of NBA player nominees is legendary. 10 championships from 2003 to 2014 are connected to these four iconic players. Moreover, 3 of the 4 inductees are part of the first more significant wave of international players flowing into the NBA. Let's dive deep into the career stats and ring stories of these legendary Hall of Fame inductees. Dwyane Wade. After a successful college basketball career with the Marquette Golden Eagles, Chicago-born Dwyane Wade was drafted 5th overall in the 2003 NBA draft by the Miami Heat. After spending most of his 16 years with the Miami Heat and National Basketball Association, he became one of the most beloved athletes in the NBA. He owned 3 NBA titles, 13 All-Star selections, 8 All-NBA team selections, and 3 All-Defensive team selections. Wade continues to proudly hold the top spot as Miami's all-time leader in points, games, assists, steals, shots made, and shots were taken. Let's talk about his stats. He led the Heat to their first ever NBA championship in his 3rd season and was rightfully named the 2006 NBA Finals MVP. In the playoffs, the Miami Heat faced the Chicago Bulls in the first round. In Game 5, Dwyane Wade suffered a severely bruised hip, yet he still scored 15 out of 28 points, ultimately giving the Heat a 3-2 lead. Despite coming down with flu-like symptoms in Game 6, Wade still achieved 14 points and 10 assists, leading Miami to victory. In this championship run, his performance was the closest to Jordan's dominance, scoring 42, 36, and 43 points in Games 3, 4, and 5 in finals against Dallas Mavericks. Wade helped the Heat to go from a 0-2 deficit to a 3-2 series lead. He was named the Finals MVP trophy after leading the Heat to a 4-2 series win in Game 6, behind his 36 points, making him the 5th youngest player in NBA history to be honored with the award. His 34.7 points were the 3rd highest among players in their first NBA Finals. In 2006, his legendary teammate Shaquille O'Neal also received his 4th ring. At the 2008 Summer Olympics, Dwyane Wade tallied the most points on the United States men's basketball team, aka the Redeem Team. This stat is pretty impressive since that roster was full of scoring machines, including the great Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and many more superstars. With King James and Chris Bosh, Wade played a critical role in helping Miami to reach the NBA Finals for 4 straight years from 2011 to 2014, culminating in back-to-back championships in 2012 and 2013. Dwyane Wade helped the Heat win the 2012 NBA Finals 4-1, averaging 22.6 points, 6.0 rebounds, and 5.2 assists per game. In the 2013 playoffs, Wade's performance was hindered by injuries, resulting in a career-low average of 15.9 points per game. He improved to 19.6 points in the finals with the San Antonio Spurs, with his best game being Game 4 when he scored 32 points and had 6 steals as Miami won 109-93. In the deciding Game 7, Wade delivered 23 points and 10 rebounds to help the Heat clinch their 2nd consecutive title, and Wade's 3rd as a player. In 2014, Wade was facing the San Antonio Spurs as a rematch of the 2013 Finals. But this time, our next Hoff nominee came out as the winner. The iconic 41-year-old point guard Tony Parker spent nearly 2 decades in the NBA, most with the San Antonio Spurs. During his time with the team, he helped them win 4 championships, along with 1 final MVP and 6 All-Star appearances. He also led France to 4 Eurobasket medals, 1 being gold. His 4 NBA rings have their own stories. Tony Parker and the San Antonio Spurs broke the Los Angeles Lakers' 3-year winning streak with a championship win in 2003. The Spurs went on to win another championship in 2005, defeating the reigning champion Detroit Pistons. Parker followed the 2007 title and won Finals MVP with an average of 24.5 points, 5.0 rebounds, and 3.3 assists over 4 games. They swept the LeBron James-led Cleveland Cavaliers. In 2014, San Antonio Spurs point guard Tony Parker won his 4th title and denied the Miami Heat to their 3rd consecutive championship. He recorded 18.0 points, 4.6 assists, and 0.8 steals during the finals across 5 games. Parker's career numbers speak for themselves. He amassed 15.5 points per game, 2.7 rebounds, and 5.6 assists, shooting 49.1% from the court and 32.4% from behind the arc. In 2018-19, he finished his career with the Charlotte Hornets as the 9th leading scorer and 5th leading passer in NBA playoffs history. Now we will move on to the towering figure of the NBA, Dirk Nowitzki. 45-year-old Dirk Werner Nowitzki made his mark as a former German professional basketball player, now serving as a special advisor for the Dallas Mavericks. Dirk was known for his dazzling scoring ability, versatility, pinpoint outside shooting, and iconic fadeaway jump shot. He was drafted in the first round of the 1998 NBA Draft and crowned the NBA Most Valuable Player in 2007. He was also NBA Finals Most Valuable Player of 2011. His playoff path was a challenge as he swept the Lakers, Kobe and Gasol, in the Western Conference semifinals, then overcame Kevin Durant and young OKC in the conference finals before beating LeBron, Wade, and Bosh in the finals. It was revenge for 2006 when Miami-led D-Wade won the same finals matchup. Dirk Nowitzki led the Dallas Mavericks to an NBA championship 2011, winning Game 6 and earning Finals MVP. Averaging 26 points per game and fighting through injury and fever in Game 4, Nowitzki evoked Jordan's 1997 flu game with a clutch performance in the series. This was the first championship in Dallas's history. Nowitzki is a living legend and the only player to remain with the same NBA franchise, the Dallas Mavericks, for an unprecedented 21 seasons, an accomplishment unmatched across the entire league, with only Kobe Bryant coming close at 20. Not only that, Nowitzki is a 14-time All-Star, has been named to the All-NBA team 12 times, and has made history by becoming the first European player to be named NBA Most Valuable Player. Honestly, his career is one for the ages. He finished his legendary career in 2019 by averaging 20.7 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 2.4 assists, while shooting 47.1% from the floor and 38.0% from deep. Let's take a look at our new inductee, the Spanish big man, Pau Gasol. Not only did he win 2 championships with Finals MVP Kobe Bryant, 43-year-old Pau was also a 6-time All-Star and 4-time All-NBA selection, cementing his legacy in the NBA. He was the leader of Spain during their run of 3 Olympic medals, silver medals in both 2008 and 2012, along with a bronze in 2016. He won 2 rings in a row in 2009 and 2010. Gasol faced prime Dwight Howard and the Orlando Magic in the 2009 NBA Finals and scored an average of 18.6 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 2.2 assists in 5 games, leading the Lakers to 4-1. Gasol's second ring was more memorable because of the revenge against the Boston Celtics in a thrilling 7-game series. His performance in Game 7 of the NBA Finals was paramount in helping the Lakers become the champions again. He scored 19 points, had 18 rebounds, and recorded 2 blocks as they celebrated their victory. During his revered 16-year NBA career, Spanish big man Pau Gasol played for 5 teams, including the Los Angeles Lakers, Memphis Grizzlies, San Antonio Spurs, Chicago Bulls, and Milwaukee Bucks. He finished his career with 17.0 points, 9.2 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and 1.6 blocks per game, shooting 50.7% from the field and 36.8% from the three-point range. Finally, let's mention the questionably GOAT coach, Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich has been a record-breaking force in professional basketball, wowing audiences everywhere as the head coach and president of the San Antonio Spurs of the NBA. His teams have achieved countless championships, awards, and honors, cementing his legacy as one of the greatest basketball coaches ever. The 74-year-old began his NBA coaching career as an assistant for the Spurs from 1988 to 1992 before serving as an assistant for the Golden State Warriors from 1992 to 94. He returned as head coach of the Spurs in 1995 and has been at the helm ever since. Popovich has led the Spurs to a staggering 5 NBA titles, thanks to a legendary roster that included Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, all of whom have won multiple championships with San Antonio. Coach Pop's immense success has earned him widespread recognition as the winningest coach in NBA history. achieving an unprecedented 1,366-761 record in his 28 seasons with the Spurs. On top of that, he was named NBA Coach of the Year 3 times, won a gold medal as head coach of Team USA, and cultivated a legendary coaching tree. In an impressive feat that surpasses Phil Jackson, Popovich achieved the most consecutive winning seasons in NBA history at an outstanding 22 full seasons, surpassing Phil Jackson for the most consecutive winning seasons in NBA history. This Hall of Fame class is legendary, no questions about that. I hope you enjoyed the stories of our new Hall of Famers. What do you think? Which player's ring is the most memorable and why? Let us know in the comment section below.
The Indiana Pacers have become one of the deepest squads in the entire Eastern Conference. But in addition to having useful pieces off the bench at every position, many of the players that make up their core are very young. And this could be the reason why Indiana could have a breakout season this year, considering the weakness of a conference that has lost players of the talent of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Bradley Beal in recent months. This will be head coach Rick Carlisle's mission in his 3rd season in charge of the team, considering that the previous 2 seasons have not gone too well. In fact, during his time in Indiana, the Pacers have a total record of 60 wins and 104 losses, which logically has not allowed the team to enter the playoffs on either occasion. However, this summer should mark a turning point in the course of a franchise that has been able to move very well in the market during the last few months. There is no doubt that the most important piece of the entire project is Tyrese Halliburton. The 23-year-old point guard was one of the players competing for the Most Improved Player award last season after a spectacular performance in which he averaged 20.7 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 10.4 assists per game, with 49% shooting from the field and 40% in three-pointers. A versatile point guard, capable of performing on both sides of the court, and who also possesses incredible athletic attributes for his position. But if Tyrese stands out for something, it is for his incredible ability to run the offense. Excellent both at the pick and roll, as in this action and finding options for shooters, as in this action in a game against the Memphis Grizzlies. And Tyrese will most likely end up sharing a backcourt with the Indiana Pacers' most important offseason signing. Bruce Brown has signed a $45 million contract for 2 seasons after his great performance for the Denver Nuggets, in which he was vital to win the championship. Brown is a versatile perimeter player, capable of playing 3 different positions despite being only 6.4 inches. Defensively, Brown offers a lot of explosiveness, being a very quick player who is able to switch on screens. But Bruce is also a very efficient offensive player. This duo with Halliburton can form one of the most defensively sound backcourts in the league. And besides Bruce, another player with good experience in the NBA who will be able to help lead the team in the locker room is Miles Turner, a player who has not stopped hearing transfer rumors for many seasons. However, he is coming off the best season of his career, 18 points and 7.5 rebounds per game, with an efficient 55% from the field and 37% in three-pointers. A center who has always stood out on defense, thanks in part to his incredible blocking ability. But this season has proven his worth to be a fundamental offensive piece. The case of Benedict Mathurin is also a reason to be excited. The Canadian was selected in the 6th position of the 2022 draft and has had a great rookie season in which he has averaged 16.7 points per game. At the moment, he is not the most efficient scorer, but with only 21 years of age, he has a lot of time ahead to improve in that aspect. A player with a very good offensive bag and a unique personality, which allows him to have the confidence to score at the highest level. Mathurin is undoubtedly a player who will benefit even more from Halliburton's vision to find opportunities to hurt defenses. And the last position of the starting 5 is power forward, where the Pacers may have some deficiencies. And only maybe because Indiana has acquired a player who can give more than one surprise this season. Obi Toppin is one of the players with more potential in his class, but has not had all the chances to shine in the Knicks. However, he should be the starter for the Indianapolis team. Despite his great size at 6 foot 9 inches, Toppin is an excellent transition player who is capable of running the fast break both on and off the ball. What's more, the power forward came to Indiana only in exchange for 2 second-round draft picks. As mentioned, the Pacers have a very good second unit, starting at point guard. TJ McConnell will be entering his 5th season in Indiana, while he continues to be one of the most efficient backup point guards in the NBA. A good defender despite his small size, a great organizer, and a player who usually doesn't make too many mistakes. In other words, he is a dream backup point guard for any franchise. TJ is also a very efficient scorer, and even lacking the best athletic ability, he was able to make 54% of his shots last season. The backup center spot will likely go to Daniel Theis. The German has struggled to get playing time for the Pacers this past season, but he is coming off a strong performance at the World Cup. Theis was part of Germany's championship team, averaging 11 points and 6 rebounds per game. He also showed a great ability to play the pick and roll with Dennis Schroeder, which will surely be extrapolated with Halliburton. This performance may have restored his confidence to return to being a big-time NBA minutes player. Buddy Hield would certainly be the team's most prominent bench piece, but the current situation indicates that the player could be off the Pacers as soon as a week from now. It appears that Indiana is not interested in offering a contract extension to the player, even having achieved great efficiency over the past season. Hield is one of the best sharpshooters in the entire NBA. A real machine gun from the three-point line that is able to be efficient, even shooting a high volume of shots. So, the player will most likely leave Indiana before the season even starts. And more than a few teams are interested in the Bahamian shooting guard, so surely the Pacers will get good players in return. Indiana could use this opportunity to try to find an upgrade at the power forward position, such as Tobias Harris or several bench pieces. One player that surprised many during his rookie season was Andrew Nembhard. The player quickly earned a starting spot for the Pacers, where he was able to showcase his good opportunity-creating skills. Increasing competition within the team will likely mean that he will have to come off the bench, but it is clear that he will get minutes to continue to show good progression. And a similar case last season was Jordan Nwora. The small forward was traded to Indiana in February last year, in the same trade as Kevin Durant. And after 3 seasons in which he didn't have too many opportunities in Milwaukee, he was finally able to shine for the Pacers. Nwora averaged 13 points and 5 rebounds per game in the 24 games he played in Indiana last season, where he also shot a spectacular 42% from three-point range. The Pacers have managed to create a very complementary unit. A roster that has a good balance between the starting and backup fives, and they will probably get even better in this aspect after an eventual trade for Buddy Hield. But when you have a point guard like Halliburton, the easiest thing to do is to get the necessary pieces around him. And in this case, a group composed of elite shooters seems like the best option. Plus, the team's defensive versatility may give them a few extra wins during the regular season. However, the bookmakers give about a 40% chance that Indiana will qualify for the playoffs, but there is no indication that the Pacers are a worse team than their direct rivals, such as Atlanta, Toronto, Chicago, Orlando, or even Brooklyn. In fact, compared directly to those franchises, only Toronto may be at a similar level in terms of rotation depth. So if the Pacers manage to pull off a great season in the East, for us, it's not going to be a surprise.
NBA changes from the 23-24 season. From breathtaking talent transfers to groundbreaking tournament structures, the 23-24 NBA season is stirring up a storm even before tip-off. With the echo of the last referee's whistle still lingering, players, coaches, and fans are already bracing themselves for a season of change. Big changes are coming, and they are set to shape the basketball landscape. But the question is, are these changes going to revolutionize the NBA for the better or lead to unforeseen consequences? Mid-season tournament. Fasten your seatbelts, NBA fans, because a mid-season shakeup is coming your way. Yes, you heard it right. A mid-season tournament. Now, we're not just talking about a friendly clash or a friendly game of Horus. 30 teams will be split into 6 clusters of 5 in the upcoming season. Each group will compete in intense pool play, with wildcard teams throwing in their own unpredictable twists. Following this, the drama heightens with a single elimination pocket tournament, culminating in an electrifying championship showdown in none other than Las Vegas. You'd be forgiven for thinking this was a plot of a blockbuster movie. It's that thrilling. And the plot twist? These aren't just games for the sake of games. Each player on the winning team will pocket a sweet $500,000. I can already see some players counting the potential additions to their sneaker collections, or maybe a brand new sports car to flaunt. A new rewards rule. Now, if you thought the NBA was just about racking up points and stealing the limelight, you're in for a surprise. Welcome to the era of endurance, consistency, and commitment. And why, you might ask? Well, the NBA just dropped a rule change that's set to stir things up. Here's the deal. To be eligible for awards like MVP and All-NBA, a player must now play at least 65 games. And that's not all. Out of those 65 games, they need to be in the thick of the action for at least 20 minutes in 63 games. The era of load management might just be coming to an end. You might be thinking, why the big shift? Well, folks, the NBA is giving a loud and clear message. Consistency is key. No more coasting through the season or strategically picking games. If you want that MVP trophy, you've got to earn it, night after night, minute after grueling minute. And as much as we love a LeBron James dunk or a Steph Curry three-pointer, let's not forget the value of persistence, dedication, and determination in the beautiful basketball game. So, do you think this rule will level up the playing field, or will it lead to early burnouts? Either way, it's definitely going to keep things interesting. A 4-team tournament. Let's slide on to the NBA's annual extravaganza, the All-Star Game. This year, don't expect the same old East versus West showdown. Nope. The NBA is shaking things up with a whole new format. 4 teams are set to face off in a single, intense tournament. No, this isn't some friendly matchup we're looking at. It's a genuine showdown between 4 squads eager for victory. The goal for the future? Boost the competitive spirit, add a dash of unpredictability, and serve us fans with more thrilling edge-of-your-seat moments we can't get enough of. I mean, we all love the All-Star Game, right? The razzle-dazzle, the showmanship, the oohs and ahs. But let's be real. Sometimes it's been more of a fancy battle than a real game. Well, with this new tournament format, the NBA seems to be saying, buckle up, folks. The All-Star Game is not just for show anymore. This isn't your grandfather's All-Star Game. It's not even your older brother's. It's a fresh, vibrant, exciting twist that promises to bring out the best of the best, fighting for every point. So which team are you putting your money on? The suspense is already killing me. The anti-flopping rule. All right, I know we've all seen it. That moment when a player, maybe even one of your favorites, takes a dive that would make an Olympic swimmer proud. Yes, I'm talking about flopping, that exaggerated plunge to the court as if hit by an invisible freight train. Well, folks, the NBA is saying game over to these theatrics. Taking a leaf from FIBA's book, they're bringing in the new anti-flopping rule. If the refs decide a player has taken a Hollywood-worthy tumble, the opposing team gets to shoot a technical free throw. Talk about turning drama into a disadvantage. I can almost see the flop master himself, Dennis Schroeder, sweating buckets over this new rule. Imagine the plot twist. The master of deceptive falls may now contribute points to the other team, courtesy of his trademark moves. NBA expansion. So, you're a die-hard NBA fan who thought you had seen it all. How about a game changer, quite literally? The NBA landscape might be getting a whole new look with a potential expansion. Our very own Commissioner Adam Silver has dropped some not-so-subtle hints that the NBA could grow once the next media package is signed, sealed, and delivered. And guess what? We might be betting on the games in the city that never sleeps. No, not New York, but Las Vegas. And the hoops could also be soaring high near the Space Needle in Seattle. Imagine the glitz, glamour, and the high-stakes atmosphere of Las Vegas, paired with the nostalgic NBA return to Seattle. Basketball junkies in those cities must be buzzing with excitement. A new ball game. Now let's dribble into the future for a moment. You know, Wilson, the name behind every bounce, swoosh, and alley-oop in the NBA. They're upping their game with 3D printed basketballs. We're talking about perfect spheres, created layer by layer, to the exact NBA specifications. We're in the testing phase right now, but if these 3D wonders get approved, we're going to see a new age in the world of basketball. I mean, it could be like watching those sci-fi movies come to life. But don't worry, you won't have to update your autograph collection just yet. It will still be a few years before we see the transition from our trusted leather beauties to the high-tech hoop dreams. But it does make you wonder, how will this tech upgrade affect the game's dynamics? Will the game be better with a ball fresh off the 3D printer? Or should we stick to good old-fashioned hand-stitched basketballs? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments below. New financial rules. We're used to seeing the hoopla of free agency and trade season, where teams flex their financial muscles to snatch up the top talent. Well, those days could be changing. The NBA and its players just shook hands on a new collective bargaining agreement introducing something called the second tax apron. I know, it sounds like something out of a tax consultant's nightmare, right? But it's a game changer, quite literally. It's a new financial provision designed to stop teams from going on a shopping spree every offseason. The new rules impose a straitjacket on trades and player movements, making it a whole new ball game for assembling a team. Let's use the Phoenix Suns as an example. Say they're inching closer to the second tax apron. They'll have to rethink their strategy. No more throwing money around to attract the shiniest stars. They'll have to play smarter, not harder. New draft changes. We all know the draft day. A day where hopes rise, dreams are fulfilled, and young athletes step into the spotlight. But it's not business as usual anymore. First up, if you thought you could breeze past the draft combine, think again. Any prospect giving a miss will find themselves warming the bench, not in the league, but at home. That's right, they'll be outright ineligible for the draft. But wait, there's more. Teams can now trade their draft picks up to 4 years in advance. So for the general managers out there, it's like playing 4D chess, planning out their rosters years in advance. And as if all that wasn't enough, the NBA is going back to high school. Well, sort of. The draft age limit has been lowered from 19 years to 18 years. The one-and-done era might just be done. As we wrap things up here, it's your turn to take the floor. What do you think about these changes? Are they slam dunks, or do they fall short of the hoop? Will they shake up the game for better or worse? Comment down below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
Every summer during the month of July, the NBA Summer League takes place. An oasis of basketball in the midst of a few months in which the aspects of the league that attract the most attention from fans are the rumors. But during this tournament, some general managers manage to find vital pieces which can even change the course of the franchise. Will any of these players become the NBA's new superstar? Because beyond the first pick of Victor Wembanyama, whose potential is known to all fans, and his inconsistent play during the only 2 games we were able to watch him, there are plenty of rookies in this class who are capable of leading an NBA franchise. Amen Thompson, the number 4 pick in the draft by the Houston Rockets, and Scoot Henderson, the number 3 pick, had to leave the tournament after suffering injuries during their first minutes of play. Other players such as Brandon Miller, the number 2 pick by the Charlotte Hornets, who is expected to make a big impact, had a good role in the Summer League, but with a low level of efficiency. However, there have been other more under-the-radar players who have had a satisfactory participation in the Summer League. One such case has happened this year with Keontae George. The Texas guard was selected with the 16th pick in the first round of this past draft, after completing a year at Baylor University. However, what Utah did not know is that such a young player, at 19 years old, would be ready to compete in the NBA from day one. George has averaged 21.7 points and 6.3 assists during the Summer League. He has been extremely efficient for a player at his position, shooting 52% from the field and 44% from three-point range. However, it will not be easy for Keontae to get into the Utah Jazz rotation next season, as the Salt Lake City franchise has 7 guards on its roster, including players like Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, or Talon Horton-Tucker. However, with the great performance he has had this summer, it would be logical to think that Will Hardy will test the youngster's skills, at least to see if he translates those numbers to the NBA. Not only have the Denver Nuggets put together the best season in franchise history, capturing the championship with a record of 16 wins and 4 losses in the playoffs, they also seem to have gotten it right with their draft night picks. Hunter Tyson was drafted with the 37th pick just a month ago, and his performance in the Summer League has been impressive. The small forward has averaged 20.8 points and 6 rebounds per game in the Summer League, with an impressive 54% shooting percentage from the field and 50% in three-pointers. A spectacular level of efficiency that has surely surprised Michael Malone. Although the Nuggets already have 9 players capable of playing this position, only Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and Justin Holiday have proven their worth in the NBA. It is to be expected that Hunter, like Keontae George, will have good minutes during the regular season to show his level of play. Malone has never had a problem giving minutes to rookies, as happened last season with Christian Braun. Another case of great performance in the last Summer League was more expected. Cam Whitmore, the Villanova University forward, was one of the most interesting prospects in the draft. However, the player fell to the 20th pick on that night of the draft in June. These situations are very frustrating for young players, and Whitmore has decided to prove to all the GMs that they made a mistake by not picking him with a higher pick. With Amen Thompson out for the Summer League, Cam had the keys to run the team's offense, and he did just that with averages of 19.3 points, 5.2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2.4 steals per game. Numbers that have allowed the forward to gain the confidence needed to play his game. The Rockets, however, will have a new coach on their bench, Ime Udoka. After his good season in Boston, the coach lost his job due to extra sporting issues. However, he now has one of the youngest and most promising squads in the league. Whitmore will have to play minutes with Dylan Brooks, Jeff Green, and Jabari Smith Jr. But after being one of the most hyped prospects in his performance in the Summer League, it is clear that he will have minutes from the first moment of the season. And just another player who has gone through a similar situation, or even more exaggerated, is Emoni Bates. When the forward was only 15 years old, he was considered the best player in the class and one of the most Kevin Durant-like prospects to ever come through the NCAA. However, when this year's draft came around, some pundits were predicting he wouldn't even be drafted. In the end, the Cavaliers decided to invest their 49th pick in Bates, who has shown since Summer League that he should have a spot on the roster, averaging 17.2 points and 6 rebounds per game, with efficient shooting percentages of 44% from the field and 40% on three-pointers. It looks like Emoni will get minutes at the next level. Being a very low-risk gamble with a lot of potential, he is also part of a competitive franchise that managed to qualify for the playoffs safely last season. The Cavs already have a competent rotation of forwards with players like Isaac Okoro, Isaiah Mobley, who, by the way, also had a great Summer League, or newcomer George Niang, who, after receiving a $9 million a year contract, will presumably get a good amount of minutes. A complicated role for Bates, which he will have to cope with if he wants to enter JB Bickerstaff's plans and have a future in the NBA. Another player who has played a great role in the Summer League and who finds himself in a roster even more competitive than the Cavs is Toumani Camara. The Belgian small forward from Dayton was drafted by the Phoenix Suns with the 52nd pick in the draft. Unlike many peers in the class of 2023, the player is already 23 years old. And this maturity has allowed him to average 16.3 points, 7 rebounds, including 3.3 offensive rebounds per game, with a good 46% shooting efficiency from the field. Still, Fran Vogel's Phoenix Suns are a powerhouse as of today, and it won't be easy to get into the rotation of a team that has Kevin Durant at his position, in addition to players like Drew Eubanks, Keita Bates-Diop, or sharpshooter Yuta Watanabe. However, Toumani's good size added to his good defensive skills may convince Vogel, a coach with a clear defensive preference, who will try to integrate the huge amount of talent he has at his disposal to achieve the only goal that will satisfy the desires of Phoenix fans, to lift the Larry O'Brien. A more special case is Marcus Noel. The player, also 23 years old, was not drafted during the 2023 draft. However, despite his short stature of 5 feet 8 inches, he was able to find a spot to play in the summer tournament. Noel is not a great scorer, but he is a player capable of distributing the ball very easily. After averaging 12 points and 7 assists per game in July, he earned one of the two-way contract spots available to the Canadian franchise. Toronto is a team that is, however, in the midst of a rebuild, not only because of the loss of Fred VanVleet, who left the team for Houston in free agency, but also because the Raptors will have a new head coach on the bench. Darko Rajakovic will debut with the difficult mission of competing with a roster that seems far from entering the playoffs. And despite the fact that the team counts with high-quality guards such as Gary Trent Jr., Dennis Schroeder, or the recently drafted Grady Dick, the style of play of these players is not exactly that of a pass-first point guard. This is the biggest hope Marcus can count on to get into the rotation for some stretch of the season. However, we will most likely see the small guard dazzle in the G League for most of next year. The NBA is the best basketball league in the world, and if a player is able to get into a team's rotation at some point in his career, chances are he's got his life figured out. However, for every minute played at the elite level, there are a huge number of prospects eager to prove their level of play in the eyes of coaches, scouts, and general managers. A situation that makes the Summer League, even if it is largely ignored by most NBA fans, especially important for all those players who dream of developing their basketball career in the United States. A time of the year when some dreams are fulfilled and most are destroyed. Because basketball is neither easy nor fair. But we all already know that